So you might know that Spotify pays a different rate depending on if the person streaming is coming from the United States versus India or the United Kingdom or Canada or whatever. It's a different rate per stream in every single country. And you might even know that Spotify and other DSPs pay different rates depending on if the person's on a free plan or a premium plan or even a family plan will all pay different rates. But what you might not know is that every distributor actually pays a different rate, and the distributor that you choose might actually dictate whether you make more or less every single month from Spotify, Apple Music, etc. So in this video, we're going to be going over a study that compares the streaming royalty rates from TuneCore, Symphonic, DistroKid, CD Baby, AWOL, The Orchard, United Masters, Soundtrap, and Horus Music. I can't take all the credit for this. This is straight out of ARs Take, which is an online blog. You might have heard of Ari Hurstan. His book is awesome. Highly recommend it. Check it out on Amazon. I think it's on Amazon. I'd listened to it on Audible years ago. Really good book, and this is straight from his website. So he compiled this information. All the credit goes to him on this. And I'll link to the article down below if you want to check it out. But he asked a bunch of people to submit their royalty statements from their distributor so they could crunch some numbers and figure out what the average royalty rate was, not only for just Spotify, but Spotify in different countries and even other platforms as well. So I'm going to zoom in and we're going to work through this because I find this data very interesting, and a lot of people don't know this. In fact, I didn't even notice until I saw this article and a few other articles online. So, this is an adapting thing, first of all. So don't be surprised if you're watching this video 2 years in the future that things might be completely different, because every year or a couple years, the DSPs are renegotiating, right? So even this data might be out of date, but it's about as up to date as it can be. So you can see right off the bat, Spotify United States as of 2020, the last time this data was updated, right now it's 2023. If we look at something like TuneCore, the average royalty rate is about 0.4 cents or $0.004 per stream, compared to Horus Music, which is 0.25 cents, $0.0025. So huge difference, right? That's nearly a factor of 2. And we can see in here that like TuneCore, Symphonic, and DistroKid are really leading the charge here. The bottom, Horus really falls in flat, but Soundtrap, United Masters, and The Orchard are actually in the bottom, which is funny because usually people associate The Orchard and AWOL being like this ultra premium distributor. And they also take big percentages. Like I know people in The Orchard who The Orchard takes 25% of their royalties, and AWOL is pretty similar. I think it's 15 or 20%. So it's kind of discouraging to see these kind of premium distributors being lower than what a lot of people would consider more run-of-the-mill kind of mainstream distributors like DistroKid, for example. Which, by the way, DistroKid is a sponsor of this video. They have nothing to do with this data. DistroKid kind of gives me free reins, but spoiler alert, DistroKid kind of comes up pretty high through this, so I think they'll be pretty happy being associated with this content. More on them later if you've never heard of DistroKid. Now we can flip over to Apple Music in the United States for 2020, and we see a similar story, although ironically, Horus Music is in first place at 0.75 cents per stream, with DistroKid being 0.68. All the way at the bottom is The Orchard at a horrible 0.47. Like it's, again, like half from the top. The bottom to the top is like almost a 50% drop. Soundtrap, if we compare these two, was also second last place, and also United Masters was also third. But it's kind of the same bottom. The only difference is Horus just swapped in this case. DistroKid number 2. A lot of people don't know DistroKid's actually, I think they're the biggest music distributor around right now. Some crazy, like I saw some statistic, like 30% of all music distributed is through DistroKid, which is nuts. But let's look at Great Britain. So this is the United States for Spotify and Apple. But what if we go over to the UK? It's a lot more flat here, so 0.48 cents all the way down to 0.38 cents. So this difference is a lot more subtle than before, so not worth talking about. But if we look at Apple Music Great Britain, this is insane. To me, I have to wonder if maybe Ari just had a smaller amount of data from The Orchard, and so because of that, there's some statistical anomaly or whatever, like the artist that submitted the data from The Orchard had some whacked out numbers for whatever reason, because I can't imagine that The Orchard pays 10 times less than TuneCore and Horus and DistroKid and Symphonic, right? I don't believe it. But this is the raw numbers. And Soundtrap also very much on the bottom again, right? Like every single time they're either the second worst or the worst so far. Going down to Brazil, right? So Brazil pays a lot less than the United States and Great Britain, right? And actually, if we just look at these numbers for the Great Britain versus the US, so Spotify, Great Britain, the max was 0.48 cents. And then if we go to the top, the max Spotify US was 0.39 cents, right? So about 0.4 cents at the top. for Spotify, up to 0.5. If we get on to Brazil, 0.15. So it's a third. It's a third of what it is for the US and the UK, which we all know. We all know that the Brazil pays less and other countries, and we're going to get to India in a bit as well, which that you might be a little freaked out by. But fairly flat between all the different distributors. Not much of a difference whether you're using Symphonic or Horus, whichever represents the best and the worst in this case. Interestingly enough, like this is the lowest that DistroKid has fallen so far, and they're kind of just smack dab in the middle of a pretty subtle graph. Now, when you look at Apple Music for Brazil, it's kind of a completely different story versus Spotify. Spotify is pretty flat, but for Apple Music, it's that same data that we saw before where the Orchard is paying almost like way less. Here, Horus is 0.75 cents, which is really high, like almost oddly high for Brazil, right? Like this is better than like this is really good compared to some of the other countries, right? The Orchard is back to super low, which makes me wonder if this is a problem with this, but it can't be a fluke that the Orchard and United Masters and AWOL keep coming down at the very bottom consistently. And now kind of a shocker, although Ari does mention in this article that they don't have much data for Spotify India, and also that CD Baby recently changed their pay rate for Spotify India, so they only have a couple months of data as of this chart. But look at this graph. AWOL at 0.12 cents at the max, and then CD Baby at 0, right? Not even point something cents, but 0.00 something cents. It's like 0.01. It's such a small number. It's just insanity to me. It's like 100 times less than the top end of AWOL and what all the other countries pay. This one, Spotify India for DistroKid comes in super low. So this was the first one. DistroKid, again, sponsored this video, this is the only one that they're low in. So aside from that, DistroKid actually fares really well across all of these individual graphs. So looking at all of this data in a nutshell, the one thing I can say across this is one, it's insane how much of a difference there can be in some of these situations, which I really wish there shouldn't be. It's every year there's these different negotiations where the DSPs negotiate rates with the 3 major record labels, and then additionally the individual smaller partners, which could either be through like Merlin or Marlin. I always forget if they're Merlin or Marlin, but they're kind of like the 4th seat at the negotiation table. But then sometimes companies will break off and negotiate their own rates if they think they have enough bargaining power to negotiate a different rate. And I wish it wasn't like this, because all of these things are just negotiated. There's no fixed rate. And so some record labels might have an arbitrarily higher number. It might even have an arbitrarily lower number. And it's just silly to me. It makes no sense why the company you choose to distribute your music would make such a big impact in some cases. But one thing I can say across all of this, the 2 ones that stand out the most are DistroKid and TuneCore for being at the top end of this, right? Like DistroKid 3rd, TuneCore 1st, DistroKid 2nd, TuneCore 3rd, DistroKid 3rd, TuneCore 2nd, TuneCore 4th, DistroKid 3rd, right? So like DistroKid and TuneCore keep coming out on top. Some of them go like super extreme to bottom to top, and then some just are consistently at the bottom, like the Orchard and Sounddrop and United Masters. So probably would avoid the Orchard, Sounddrop, and United Masters just based on this data. There's obviously other factors to at play here, and not just the actual royalty rates. There's features and stuff. But let me show you why I think for you, DistroKid might actually be a really good option. DistroKid is a distribution platform that I've been using for years. We can go back through, and these are all my releases that I've put through DistroKid, all the way back to 2018 or so. 2018 is when I first distributed my first song through DistroKid. And the reason why I chose them initially is because they charge a very low annual rate for unlimited music distribution. When I was getting into this, I was like, I don't want to be paying per release. I just want to pay one flat rate and be able to upload as much as I want, because I don't want to de-incentivize myself from uploading more music. Uploading more and more music is one of the best things you can do for promoting your music. The more frequently you're uploading, the more good music that you're putting out there, the more likely people are to stick around and then check out and listen to multiple songs and keep engaged. So that's reason number one why I signed up with DistroKid. But the other reason is that they tend to always be at the cutting edge of features. So for example, for quite a while, you've been able to upload lyrics and also do synced lyrics. So if you've ever gone on Instagram or Apple Music and seen that the lyrics actually play in time with the song, you can do that inside of DistroKid. Additionally, this mattered more to me back in the day before I was really adept at marketing and smart links, but DistroKid does have a very easy Hyperfollow page, and you can very easily get this quick page instantly to get people to check out your music or pre-save your music if that's your thing. Typically, I would use something like Hyped It or Feature FM for this in ad campaigns, but you can check out other videos like this one up here for how that works. But if you know nothing about that, then this Hyperfollow page is a great way to get started with conveniently linking people to your music. One cool tool that I particularly enjoy when I'm in a pinch is this Vizy tool, where you can very easily go and make a new video using Vizy. They also have free videos, but I like the Vizy ones better. You can pick a format, and for only like $8 or $9 extra, get a quick little visualizer music video. So this isn't like a replacement for a full music video or for a lyric video, which I do actually have a lyric video service on my website. I'll link in the description. But it's $8, right? And you can have it in hours. So if you're like scrambling and I don't have any content to promote my new song, and it's coming out in 5 hours, like Vizy is one of the quick ways that for super cheap, you can just grab a video to share on social media. And one particular DistroKid feature that I've never really talked about before, and it is a paid extra, but I think it's worth mentioning, there's this social phone feature. And if you ever try to do anything with SMS marketing, you'll notice that it's one of the most expensive types of marketing ever, right? But with DistroVid, you pay a flat rate. So you can just pick a number and they're just going to charge you $12.99 a month for unlimited text messages through this phone number. And it seems like it even handles international, US and non-US. Though you're communicating with someone another, you might want to use a country code. So you can just use this with international and US-based fans, and it's unlimited for $12.99 a month, which is, out of every SMS marketing platform that I've looked at, is by far the cheapest thing, unless you're sending like almost no text per month. So of course, if you pay for it and don't use it, it's not worth it. But if you were looking for a good SMS plan, this social phone by DistroKid is one of the like biggest sleeper features of a music distributor I've ever seen, if you're taking advantage of it. So anyways, thank the DistroKid for sponsoring this video. As you can see, that they not only have great features, but they're also one of the highest paying distributors, which I was very surprised by. If you want to check out how you can promote your music on Spotify using Facebook ads, which is one of my favorite methods of promoting music. In fact, it is my favorite method right now. Check out this video right here to watch a detailed video walking through the entire process from start to finish. And if you prefer a much more organized course and an exact thing with community and my country list and an organized list of videos, then check out my course Spotify Growth Machine right here. Anyways, thanks for watching. I'll see you next video. Bye.